to provide the facilities for them. So there's two ways to go about it. Okay, the last 5 years, 5 years ago, we got ourselves back. We do not want to engage with external international production, mainly for two reasons. It's the skill set. International production is a different ballgame. It's a beast by itself. Trust me. Expectation is very high. We pull ourselves out. We increase our skill sets in terms of our manpower, in terms of our experience to that, and also we increase our facilities capabilities in terms of technology-wise. Because we also have in-house production which we have to cater. Therefore, if we are to achieve external production, we need to increase our capability in terms of facilities. That's why we expand our capex. We purchase for a number of facilities so that we can do both internal and external. That's where we are driven. Okay. And towards the 5 years, we have seen growth in international production. They're growing tremendously, steeply, to across about 20% out of our overall revenue, which is quite high. And what I would like to highlight here in terms of co-production, strategic collaboration, is using Malaysia as a production hub. We have done it before. Norman will agree with me. We have done game shows before, using Malaysia as a production hub. You'll be surprised that we've done game shows for India and also for Middle East as well, using Malaysia. Yes. The unique part is, not many people know, the first thing is they'll think about audience. How do I get Indian audience? You can get Indian audience. You have a diversity of races in Malaysia where you can do each production here. Even High Five. High Five is done here, but it's shown in Australia. Okay? That's one. And my experience when dealing with the executive producer from AXN Sony, he wants a Shah Rukh Khan looking guy. Audience, I'm serious, for the Middle East. And we were like, oh, okay. But we managed to get, because there were abundant full of students from overseas students that study here. And you get a variety. Secondly is currency exchange, okay? A ringgit compared to the dollar, a big advantage for us. Thirdly is you can leverage your costs. In terms of ground events, hotels, accommodation, lodging, food, it's cheap in Malaysia if you know how to deal with all the other third parties. And it's an advantage for us. So again, I like to stress, take this opportunity to see how we can use Malaysia as a production hub. Okay? What do we want to see? How do we want to work with content producer or content creator? Number one will be, you're looking at how we can monetize the content together. Okay, that's very important at the moment. You know how commercial value is. Data will go through the cycle. Secondly is, we would like to grow the content regionally or globally. Because we have the strength here. You all might have the strength in terms of your IP. Let's work together. Let's strengthen our bond and go across regionally and globally. That's how you can monetize more. And lastly is the continuity of content. We would not want to do a season. You want to do more, you want to do more season, you want to do, you can franchise your content to other countries as well. Okay? And lastly, the cycle will be start with a partnership, how we start. Okay? If you have a content, we can sit down and talk, vice versa. If you have content, we can come and see you as well. And then the tricky part will be the licensing and merchandising. That's where, the legality, in terms of how you want to halve, how much you're going to put into the basket, how much we're going to put in the basket, what's the percentage like and all that. Okay, that is the tricky part, which is the second. And then we move to distribution. After the production, we move to distribution. In that distribution, along the line, we are able to build our talent pool. We are able to gain our experience. And from there, again, during the production or after production, try to get sponsors so that you can monetize the content. And lastly, if the content works well, we can monetize more. I know I use a lot of word monetization, okay? But I guess that is how content is moving forward too. And monetization also works on what the viewers want. It's not monetization of just making money out of content, but what the viewers would like to do, what the viewers would like to see, that's how we can monetize them, okay? So I think benefits of co-production, as I explained earlier, which is the next slide. We know that we can leverage the cost. We have advantage in terms of technological wise. We can share our knowledge and experience as well. Transfer of knowledge. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. So I think there was a common thread that was all the panelists here were talking about, which is first of all your idea. Your content must be good. It has to have a good story. Mr. Fatty was talking about there's not enough good script writers or screenplay or content coming out. So maybe before we open up for the audience, I'm sure there are so many questions to ask. We've heard your success in terms of co-productions and the platforms that you all have. What are the usually challenges that you have in trying to get a co-production off the ground? What are the issues that you face, especially coming from Asian producers? What are the typical issues that you face? And maybe we can help to solve.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about what we tried, because we have a 5-year plan of developing drama on the network. And originally I started looking westward. I thought my beacon would be the Western United States, and I reached out to some friends, and I managed to speak to some production companies there. I soon realized from the first conference call that we're talking like different language, financial different language. Our series, the budgets are around $3 to $4 million, the whole series, and this can be up to 30 episodes for the the month of fasting. They're talking about $4 to $6 million an episode. So quickly the conversation fizzled out. 3 weeks ago I was in Los Angeles, and there's a convention there sponsored by University of South California, talking about content and bridging the gap and the minds and so on and so forth. It's a good initiative. Again, the reality are different. They interested in the region for production US-centric shows. They like the desert landscape, but the themes is the same, that the recurrent theme, the bad guys, good guys coming and save the day. I said, is that all that Hollywood is interested in? We have stories, it doesn't have to be the oppressed woman or the bad guy involved into bad things. Just to use an euphemism. They said, well, but that's what the market, and even some of my colleagues who came with me into this meeting, they said, well, we have to play the ball, we have to play the game. I believe there's other way. I believe we have a common ground. We have a common culture here. We're all Muslims, and there's a story that transcends. There was a good success with bringing drama from Turkey. First was the licensing to the point that it became like the #1 most watched drama in the region, and it continues to be. Turkish drama is very much appreciated because it speaks the same story. The story is whether it's in California or in Europe, it's about people getting together and issues. But the way, because the backdrop is our common culture, the story you relate to, you see yourself in it, you see the child, struggling, or you see the wife, or the issues about divorce, but it's within our cultural background.
So the Turkish drama worked because it was still culturally in Turkey, but the universal story is accepted by everybody.
Absolutely, and that helps. So to the point is that one local production now is moved to Turkey to produce and finance Turkish series for Turkish market and also for international distribution. That's one way of doing it, and I believe this is possible here. Also, when I talked about the high quality of drama series, this is also achieved by what they call production value. When I see a series, I can see how much money is being spent. And one way of doing it is they usually sew in the story an overseas trip. So obviously it's good for them to travel, but also, there's production. So most of the filming is in Eastern Europe because of the cost, but I see a great potential here in Southeast Asia, especially in Malaysia. The landscape, it's amazing. The culture, you talked about profile and casting, it's absolutely right. When you're in Eastern Europe, it's hard to find Arabs. Arabs. But here, I think we're more or less, I don't pass for a Malaysian, but maybe I'll try. So.
Yeah. Okay, so basically back to like Malaysia is a good place to make stuff. And also you have good stories. So you just need to package it right to the
Absolutely. I mean, the film I saw, the name escapes me. The horror movie that was earlier.
It's now
Yes, Munafaq, and that's an amazing story. I mean, it's something that I definitely would like to see, especially because religious films will work, in the Middle East in particular timing, on the religious festivals. Also animated series, I know you guys produce a lot of good animated series and cost cent for cent, Malaysia, India, the production cost is much less.
That's good. Back to you, John. Any issues that you and maybe Mr. Liu faces in trying to get ideas from here?
I think the topic today in co-production, I would do something more straightforward, like for China, to invite filmmakers from Malaysia to send your project over there and to, like what Raymond said, monetize. I think this is the film business that we're doing. So there's a few things. I received an email from a friend's side already about a film, can he enter China? So I think this is a question that I think most of the Malaysian filmmaker want to do. So, okay, if it's a new project, not been made yet, of course you gotta have, you don't have to give me the script, it's actually just a good treatment, right? And a beautiful PPT, okay? Why? Because imagine if I have to read 100 over, projects to see, you gotta catch people's eyeball first. If you have a wonderful business proposal, basically, a PPT, and then, hey, cool, this is a nice concept. The one look, you can tell what is this story about, and what I know what you're trying to do, and then I'll start looking at it, and I'll read your treatment. Because I will read your script. At no point sending the script. And then, with that, I will go to people like, Leo from Youku. If not, then his rival, Aichi, Tencent. Now, if he doesn't want it, I have a lot of options. And say, hey, guys, do you want to invest in this? We can do production in Malaysia. So, and then also you guys have to understand, in China, this friend just sent me an email, send me a YouTube link. If I send it to my guys in China, they won't be able to watch it. You know why? Because it's blocked.
There's no YouTube.
So you have to understand sometimes, for our convenience wise, if you send me a link in YouTube, you might, 50% of the chance you won't, hear from us because there's no way for us to see it. Unless we buy a software, VPN, try to, look at your material. So you have to understand China first before you send stuff over. And of course, stay away from politics, stay away from religious stuff, and stay away from
Mr. Matthew wants religious stuff.
yeah.
But okay, it depends on the audience, right?
I would like to read this email because this guy sent me, he said it's about a girl, a Muslim girl, want to do a ballet, but instead of wearing the yeah. I thought, this is actually very, it's about, her religion, and believes in it, but she loves the ballet. I thought this is a good story actually. I would like to further to discuss this project with him. But of course, there's a YouTube link. I guess, okay, my guys will be able to watch it. So I have to go and do it myself, and I don't have the time to do it myself. So guess what?
Okay.
Just
So somehow of that is a really good presentation material.
Yes.
And it's fast and it's simple. Don't send so many words. Nobody's going to read it. No YouTube links. Okay, sorry.
I'd like to add to that. Absolutely right. Pitching is very important. I sit in meetings, when people just beg for a meeting and I don't know them, so eventually I find the time, and they go on and on about. They're very passionate about the story they want to tell me, but they go into details about the execution, and all I want is what's the story, who's in it, how many episodes, how much I want to get to the how much as soon as possible because that will define whether the meeting is going to be continue or not. And they go on, and very few people know how to pitch properly. And this meeting I had a couple of weeks ago in LA was when they trained. It's a workshop about writers, and I said, teach them please how to summarize in 3 sentences what they want to sell. It's sometimes nerve-wracking, and you're right. You know, there's no point sending a video link. Exactly. There's no point sending a video link that doesn't work. It happens to me all the time. Or I don't read scripts. I don't read 20 episodes and they keep sending it in PDF, and then I pass it on to someone who doesn't read it either and say, oh, it's not good.
So a lesson here, because most of us here are storytellers, we know there's no way we can tell a story in 3 lines. Come on, you marketers, how dare you do that to us? But he's right, because these guys receive 20 scripts a day, maybe they won't have time to read your script. So there's no way. And when you pitch, let me tell you, because I've been on the other end of receiving a pitch as well, script writers can't pitch. They can't. They go into the whole 20-minute thing and already you're playing with your phone because you're too polite to tell them to stop. But the point is, you have, the log line is so important. 1 line, what's the movie about, show nice pictures, and then if they like it, they go on, okay, what's the premise, and what's the synopsis, and then finally, if they have time, maybe they read the script. Okay, sorry, last before we go to the audience, anything you want to add to that? Issues that you face with our production, or producers trying to get co-productions out?
I think I totally agree with Fatih and also with John that pitching is very important. And also, we need to have a clear line of definition how, what, and when you want to get your idea across to us. So that's pretty important. Other than that, I think it starts with the basic of how your idea starts first. Then you will definitely have challenges, right? But definitely we will work together and overcome it.
Excellent. So I'd like to open up to everybody here. Anybody's got any questions? Mr. Sion?
Morning all. Can you hear us? Okay. Double barrel question. One to everyone on the floor, particularly with regard to China and the Middle East, in terms of the sort of co-productions that you guys have or are intending to participate in what manner would you participate, i.e. would you just be investors, or would you also want to have creative control? And if you are going to be investing conventionally or traditionally, how much of the overall production budget would you be prepared to put in? That's one. The second question actually has to do with local requirements. I imagine that for internet content, that there isn't any requirement for a foreign producer to co-produce or to work with a local producer in the same way that you would need to if you wanted to have your content on internet television, i.e. you don't need a SAF license. And does that also apply in the Middle East? Of course, in Malaysia, we know how that works. Thank you.
Anybody want to take that? Basically, are you more interested in just being an investor, or together you want to be part of the creative thing, and also any kind of local requirements?
Mine will be very short for China because there is no co-production treaty yet. I think me and Dato' Norman is still trying to figure out with China, get a standard because you need the X amount of percentage to invest from China in order to make this co-production works. But it's getting there. It's basically 30% is what we minimum from China. And also creative control. I know a lot of filmmakers will say, will you interfere in your creative? Yes, we will interfere because, unless you can guarantee you can pass the censorship. If not, then, we have to come in to control what is being said in the story. So basically that is, and that's for us.
From our perspective, what we looked at, the model we looked at is co-financing. We're looking at a partnership in the funding, but not necessarily in cash equivalent. It could be in resources, studios, and the likes. The only way we thought this might work with an international partner is through a share of IP rights. whereby we retain the intellectual property for our territories and the distribution and the revenue, and the partner will take care of their territories. And we looked at doing something of the sort with the Turkish partner when, actually it's their model. They had 3 or 4 partners, one from Latin America, Central Europe, and Eurasian, and they looked at us as a partner for the whole of the Middle East. But the financial conjunction at that time were not favorable. So, but that's what I think I want to emulate that model here.
Okay, and also creative control, will you be?
Oh yes.
Sorry, it's your
So it's not an ego thing. Creative control allows us to cater to our particular audience. A lot of people don't understand that pay TV is different from free to air, and I have to do a lot of educating the partners that what goes on for free to air, it's mostly C class, you know, and it's not derogatory terms. You know, we classify them A, B, and C in terms of income. We are more into the premium side. You know, the story has to reflect. Our viewers will accept subject matters that are less acceptable to the C class, and the same story goes with the stars, you know, and the casting and everything else.
Okay, good. Hope you answered your question. Anybody else got any questions? Okay, there's someone. Great.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Mahmud. Can I?
Yeah, please speak louder.
I have 2 questions. One question is for Mr. Raymond. Right? So basically, you after years of experience in international co-production, what were your key learnings, and what worked and what didn't work, and actually what did you wish you knew into going into the process? And for Mr. Fatih, so you also have been involved with a lot of international cooperation as well. So basically, before you come up with a decision to collaborate with any international companies out there, actually what qualities you should consider before you, when contemplating with an international co-production? Thank you so much. That's all.
Okay. You first.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for your questions. I think it's quite valid. First of all, key learnings, what worked and not. Okay, I'll just start on what not first. Again, I said what not was the skill sets, the manpower that we put in, and also the technical skill sets. It's a different game. Expectations were high, and we had challenges, big major challenges at the beginning in terms of getting our international co-producers to understand our workforce here, and so we need to change mentality, because certain ways how things work here is differently from how things work internationally. Things are get done pretty quickly. Communication is fast. Emails, messages is being sent immediately. Okay, so that we need to change the mindset. We need to change the skill set of our people to ensure that they're on par with the expectation of international production. So that's where we have challenges. Where's not, okay? But what worked with us is, while working with them, we enhance our knowledge, we enhance our expertise to grow together with international production. We documented it, we have proper workflow, how we need to grow and how we need to work with international production, so that we will minimize the risk and also the challenges. That's what we have learned throughout the years. Okay, there are 2 things: manpower and also facilities and equipment. Very important. I think they answered your question. Thank you.
Mr. Fatih?
Why? Tough question, but when you talk about international collaboration, I think my first objective or my first concern would be the financial situation of the company. Do they have enough resources to continue and fund this partnership and till the end? We had, do they have the cash flow? Cash flow is a big issue into production. You know, production burns cash very quickly at the beginning. And in my modest experience, you know, we had issues with very ambitious, young, small production companies. But when it came to the cash flow, when we agreed and signed an agreement, they realized that big network like ours takes time for money to flow to them. And they were desperate for cash because they were like, they couldn't proceed, and at one point or another, some of the production stalled, and I wouldn't repeat the same experience again. The second thing is the background. There's no point, you know, so at the end of the day, partners are expert in their own fields. So I'll be a bit reluctant when somebody is expert in doing like talent music shows and wants to do an action film. Even if they have the cash flow or bringing the resources because he's here with a film director who did films before, I'd rather be more reassured. Unfortunately, you know, it's not really an ideal mindset to create original ideas, but sometimes the reality it dictates that you need to sway on the caution. It's my job is to de-risk any venture, you know, because I have to. People pitch to me, and then I go and pitch it internally to my CFO and CEO, and I'll be responsible for that project from initiation till the end. So these are the two main things: it's the production expertise, skill set, and the cash flow or the financial situation of a partner.
Right. So that's a very good answer, because you don't just have a good idea with a good presentation. He actually is looking also to see whether you have the resources to back you up, financial resources especially, and also whether you have a track record of doing what you say you want to do. So that's quite important for us to know. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Available on your websites. Or that's number one. Because if we have a contact numbers or something like that, we can always, otherwise you'll be swarmed by us. There are so many of us here. That's number one. Number two, content and idea is the king, yeah, in this matter. Okay, I have got to mention, my name is Asia, from University of Utara, Malaysia, the Northern University of Malaysia. We have a big production house there. And we can, I'm in the process of honoring in what manner we can tackle this, the whole thing. Okay, that's number. The second question is regarding the content. What type of problems you have encountered when you deal with the foreign partners as far as content is concerned? We come to content. What types of problems that you always encounter? And how can we minimize that problems? That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, the first one is that I think everybody here will swarm to get your contacts after this, and I'm sure you have your contacts in your website, so you can always Google them up. So I think they will be there. But though I think all the little tips that they give you will not probably be in the website. There's something that that's why we're in this room. We have this thing that you can learn, and then you can actually get that. Because I doubt he's going to give away his secrets out there on the website, or anybody here will do that. But number two, okay, current problems, a very good question. With partners, I think everybody here wants to know more about the conflicts and the problems, and if there's any more stories that you can tell which we can learn and to avoid.
Well, there's always problems, you know. It's again, you know, it's thank you for the question. It could be like anecdotes, because everybody has stories to tell, you know, the things that didn't work. I produce most of the shows in Egypt. Egypt is the hub of production. It's a very cost-effective place, but it's a nightmare place to work in. Everybody knows that when you're there, you know, you have to really toughen up a bit. The ethics is, well, I can't say that there's a question of ethics. I think it's a different cultural mindset. They're very eager to help, so they sell you everything, and when you get there, I said, oh, what are the 5 cameras? Oh, there's 2 here, the other one is not coming, and so you just have to do your due diligence all the time. However, again, you know, it starts with the problems, and then we end up with good friends at the end because they have an incredible aptitude at solving issues. I come, you know, in a set where we agree there's going to be like 3 doors and 2 sofas, and I see a bathroom. I said, oh, where is it? Oh no, but he told me, I told him, and then it's like 6 p.m. We're filming tomorrow at 8 a.m. And I feel at first time I thought it was a disaster. I'm going to lose my job. How do I tell my boss, you know, we have a bathroom instead of, you know, just using an example. But then it is no problem. You know, things happen. 8 p.m. Carpenters comes. You know, by 3 a.m. There's the sketches. They redrawn the whole thing, and that's why it's important. You know, a good positive attitude, understanding the culture. No doesn't mean no. No means maybe, it means if, you know, and so on and so forth. And for the part of particularly the Middle East, it's very important to understand how people think. You know, it's at the beginning they're a bit reticent, especially they, as I said, no doesn't mean no. There's always, and beware of inshallah. You know, for us, when we say inshallah, means the thing is not going to happen.
All right. Anybody else got war stories or? Okay.
Let me say something to Madam just now, because I think there's one thing that we all can tell when you mention a few things. The keyword that we said, you have a big production house, so you're gonna start doing content, so you're creating a demand for yourself. You see, so you're not pure to the, you know, story making. So you have to understand that we've been through that. So sometimes you have to really focus on finding the right material to develop and get the right, maybe a writer, a proper screenwriter, and a director to come in to develop the story. Not because you have a good big production house, because you want to do this, you're going to have this VFX shots, this and that, and then you create a kind of story and then give it to pitch to the people, the investors. You know, I think sometimes you might get some, but in the long run, it's not something that we are. You know, it's not fair to. I won't say it's not fair. Like people like me, I can tell. It's like you want to create all these big scenes, you know, so that you get work for your production house. You know, it's not that. I wouldn't recommend that. So you have to stay true in the story you're telling.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to add 2 more things. Actually, these are serious matters. The 2 big problems we experience are the exchange rate. All our agreement and contract are in US dollars. When the places that we produce mostly our local currency fluctuates significantly. In Egypt, I think the Egyptian pound lost 30% of its value. So sometimes when they make an agreement with us in the local currency, when they come to about 6, 7, 8 months later down the line, in terms of production, they expect more or they want readjustment of the cash flow. The second thing is the legal system, the contract. All our contracts are in English. They follow UK and Ireland, I think, or England legal system. Our partners speak English more, so they send us, you know, contracts in Arabic. So language barriers can be an issue, and taxation as well, because in UAE we don't apply taxes, but we might be liable to taxes, income taxes in places in Egypt. So that's just ramification that it's left, you know, to the bureaucrats, but it's something we need to be aware of. And mostly is for my case, is the fluctuation of the local currency in the place of production.
Okay, so it looks like most of the problems that he's facing come from not understanding the local culture, regulations, taxes, whatever. If you study the place that you're going to, then you will minimize his problem. Whereas John mentioned that he's not impressed at all if you have a CGI, which is he just wants to see the story first. So that's the most important thing. You know, that's the first thing. Correct. I mean, but what he's saying is that you got to pitch a really good story that will appeal to the audience that they want to get. Yeah, that's the most important thing first. Yeah. Sorry, someone got another question? Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Sadiq from Penulis. I'm a writer myself. We come from a group of bunch of local writers. So the question is, how much do you invest in your content? How much do you invest in your content research? And also, how long is your production timeline in order to provide a good story, a good product? That's it. That's all.
Okay, that's a huge question.
Yeah, he's asking about how much you invest for development, right?
Yeah,
How much you
R&D.
pay? How much will we pay for you to develop something, right? Is that the question?
Roughly. Basically, I think because over here, sometimes in Malaysia, we don't really do much of R&D, we just go straight to production. And we are very, very impressed at the amount of time that sometimes international platforms spend on pre-production and development. So I think they would like to know what is it like out there. How much do you spend on working the story? How much do you spend time?
I think it depends. Like say in-house, I would tell my guys, I give you a budget of 3 million to develop a story, 3 million R&D. But that's really, this guy has written like big box office before. But if you're, let's say you're asking me, you're not my producer. You just come to me and then you ask me to give you a development money for your story. So I think it doesn't work that way. So I will pay whatever it takes for you. If I like the story, I'll pay whatever it takes to
get the story
to get
to
the
the
story.
script level.
We come to a level that I think that is needed. What was the second question again?
How long it takes to it's a development question. How much you spend development and how long does it take to prepare something, either film or
I said
TV?
how much you spend. I answered that. We really discussed that. And how long it takes for it takes as long as we come up with until we are satisfied. That's how long it's going to take.
Kind of agree with John as well. It depends, it varies as well in terms of what you want to do in terms of maybe drama or game shows, entertainment shows. It depends on your pre-production time. It can take 3 months, 6 months. It can cost you from 100,000 less than that. It can goes up to millions. So we have to see the scale of the production.
I totally agree with you. It depends on the content, but it's probably industry standards. Like pre-production can take up to 6 months, filming 3 months, and post whatever it takes. In the Middle East, unfortunately, these numbers sometimes, are compressed. For the drama, the key, the biggest market is the Ramadan, the RIZA, you call it here, I believe. When 30 series are produced. Which makes like 70 to 80% of the drama series of the whole year, and they start working on it like now we are in November, so deals have been done. They're going to start with the optimal period, between January to March, April, in terms of filming before the onslaught of the summer. But sometimes they overrun, and they always overrun, so you find yourself delivering the first episode on the day, with little creative input to change anything, and everybody's rushing to deliver 30 episodes in 30 days, and after that everybody disappears because they go on holiday for a month and a half. So you don't produce anything, while the networks just do reruns, and then at the end the cycle starts over again, so it's not very productive, but that's the way it is.
Just very, very good information. Just so that you know, we also have our experience working with international platforms, and I know one platform I'm working with is 1 year in pre-production and still no sign of the production yet. Because they want to work on it. Some is faster, they like it, so they go faster. Some go slower. It really depends on the client you're working with. Okay, we have room for one more question. Just one more question.
Good evening. Good day. So my name is Nafi from Indonesia. So if we're talking about the international co-production, I think what I'm going to ask is how because it is like joint ventures, then and how you can manage the rights between us and yours, and how do you do the shares of the profits.
Alright. Okay. Sorry. Just to check. Manage to rise, is it?
The rights.
Rights, not the rights. The rights and the share profits.
Yes,
Okay. The IP.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Thanks.
I'll answer that. It's basically, from my perspective, is the proportion of how much investment. So if you're putting 60%, you get 60% of the IP rights. I did talk earlier about territorial IP rights share. So so because of the network we're based in the Middle East, so we know the region. So that's mostly with distribution will be there. But we did agreements whereby we do 50/50 of investment and as an incentive for distribution. So if I bring in the client, I'll get 60% of the revenue versus 50%. So that's a 10% incentive to get the deal. But also we agree that we approach people not at the same time. So so if I have a partner, we're both talking to the same person. It's not nice.
Yeah, I guess for Astro in a way, we do have a team that does Nusantara project and co-sharing in terms of rights as well. They have a formula to that, which again, as I said, how much you're going to put in revenue, how much you're going to put in your inventory, and also what in terms of your content IP as well. And from there, you can gauge what's the percentage it can be from 100% to 50%.
And whatever Astro is doing, Uniprima also doing the same thing. Slide that one in. Okay, maybe last words from John and then Mr. Leo about this.
The rights. Actually, the rights is actually, it depends how you look at it. If I own everything, you're just providing me the story, and then end of the day I own it and got nothing to do with you. After that, this still will be end of the IP because no one will be working on it. You know what I mean? So we will keep you guys in, but we usually do a first option first. This is what I'll do. If you have an IP, you think it's gonna be a big one later on. I trust you. Okay, let's sign something, and then we do a project first, and secondly, we will go like, if you have a better idea to continue to do this IP, you can do it with me first. If I reject, you can do it with someone else. Yeah. So like first look, last refusal, if you know the terms. Yeah. We usually do it that way.
Maybe last word from Mr. Leo from Youku.
I can.
Or do they own everything?
Yeah. Well, there's not much question for him. So anyway, you guys has his email. You guys can email him.
Does Youku take all rights?
Yeah. Usually they take all right.
Okay.
But we'll ask the price, right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we run out of time. Thank you very much all the panelists for being here. We give them a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Leo, Mr. John.
Thank you. So we thank all our distinguished speakers and moderator for their insightful views on the topic. And before that, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of our guest of honor, Yang Berhormat Tuan A. Chadli Singh, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia. Let's welcome Yang Berhormat Tuan A. Chadli. And as a token of appreciation to our panel guest speakers, so we'd like to invite Yang Berbahagia Dato' Mahmud Mustaqim to be out on stage to present the souvenirs to our panel guest speakers. So please put up your hand to Yang Berbahagia Dato' Mahmud Mustaqim, CEO of CICAM, and to Mr. Fadi Azuz from Dubai, OSN Dubai, and Mr. John Chiu from China, Star Entertainment China, Mr. Liu Yufan, Yuko Tudo Incorporated China, and Mr. Raymond Arvindra, Astro Production Malaysia, and to our moderator, Yang Berbahagia Dato' Ahmad Izam Omar, CEO Primeworks Malaysia. So thank you again, and thanks to our participants for participating in Q&A session. So we'd like to invite to record this special moment in photography section. So again, a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And next, we move on to the official opening ceremony of the second edition ConnectASIA 2018 Symposium and Networking event. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our guest of honor, Yang Berhormat Tuan Edin Shazli Singh, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Communications and Multimedia Malaysia, Yang Berusaha Encik Shakib Ahmad Shakir, Acting Director General of Finance, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Muhammad Mahmud Mustaqim, CEO of SICAM, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Ahmad Izam Omar, CEO Primeworks Malaysia, council members of SICAM, president and leaders of the industry, distinguished speakers and moderators, officials from the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia and Finance, distinguished Dato' and Datin, delegates and participants, media representatives, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and Salam Sejahtera. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to the official opening ceremony of second edition ConnectASIA 2018 Symposium and Networking event, proudly brought to you by National Film Development Corporation Malaysia Finance and Creative Content Association Malaysia, SICAM, and strongly supported by the Ministry of Communications and Multimedia Malaysia. A warm greeting, selamat datang to all our international speakers as well as our delegates and participants from Malaysia. And a special welcome again to our guest of honor, Yang Berhormat Tuan Edin Shazli Singh, Deputy Minister of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia. Moving on with our program, ladies and gentlemen, it's our great pleasure to call upon Yang Berusaha Encik Shakib Ahmad Shakir, Acting Director General of Finance, to deliver his welcoming address. Please welcome Yang Berusaha Encik Shakib Ahmad Shakir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Yang duduk di hadapan saya pada hari ini wajah-wajah Malaysia baru. So saya tepukan pada yang tuan-tuan tadi. And relates to or is in synchronization with whatever has been said by the panelists. So here goes, and I hope this resonates well with the rest of you. Yang YB Tuan Edin Shazli Singh, Deputy Minister of Communications and Multimedia Malaysia, Encik Johannes Dak, Chairman of the Creative Content Association Malaysia, members of the association and industry players, honored guests and foreign students, Yang Bahagia Datuk Mahmud, selamat datang and a very good afternoon. Again, I'm sure the welcoming remarks has mentioned it to you many times to welcome you to this event. Allow me to welcome you once more. Selamat datang to ConnectASIA 2018. On behalf of FIMAS, I would like to extend our appreciation to YB Tuan Edin for being able to attend and to officiate this event. I must introduce myself. My name is Shakib bin Ahmad Shakir. As already stated, I am the Acting Director General of FINAS. I don't know whether you want to take the acting literally or figuratively. But rest assured that this event has the full backing of the Kementerian, the Ministry of Multimedia and Communications, because I am the Deputy Secretary General for the Ministry. So there is an assurance and backup from this event. Now, being the theme today, I believe, is about working together, cultivating synergy and collaboration. Those leads to a positive sign on what a bright future lies for us ahead in the industry. There is a book written by Malcolm Gladwell, written in 2000. The title is Tipping Point. And the book talks about identifying the right resources such as mavens, connectors, and salespersons. Maven unpack ideas and information. Connectors connect people by referring people to the right expert or services to solve the problems. And salesperson Those are the people that make things happen through persuasion, take idea, making it stick, and position it to get a track behind it. In this context, for ConnectASIA 2018, I assume that this event, this is what it's all about. It is a connecting ground for these three archetypes aforementioned, sitting together to enhance and build networks. The people from the industry, for the industry, to the industry. So it will prosper, move forward enthusiastically with strategic collaboration and synergy. This is the intended takeaway for this event. Building networks, creating multipliers and synergies. From 1981, if I may recall back, when FINAS was formed, the major objective of FINAS is to provide training to the industry players. So we go to the basics. We say, well, we provide platform for script writing, directing, production management, cinematography, editing, post-production techniques. We also, at the same time, offer government grants to facilitate and leverage the capacity of the local industry players through this term called Dana Industri Kandungan Kreatif. So, for the last 37 years, that has been our operating mode. We've been operating on that. We are operating on government grants. It was the era of big offers and less complexities. Looking back, the previous business model can no longer be relevant. Now, in this day and age, Malaysia baru, resources are scarce. Budget of 2019 speaks volumes about how we need to address other priorities for the nation. Yet the expectations are high. People come here to this event saying that we have high expectations. How do we manage these expectations? The budget for us next year is less. It's not as much and it's not as lavish as it used to be. So in this sense, we need to be selective. We need to be strategic for FINAS. I'm talking about FINAS. In our decision making, and we have to look forward to new modes of operation. We have to look at the concept of self-sustaining and being less dependent on government grants. We have to operate with business entity. Monetization of the industry is one aspect of how we go the way forward. We are looking at new business models on how to make FINAS self-sustaining, yet at the same time promoting the growth of the industry. So these are the things where FINAS as an entity, we welcome new outlooks, new fresh ideas. Beginning of next week, I'm going to meet some of you, perhaps all of you, inshallah, and we will discuss on how do we move forward from where we are today, and we do a moonshot, say 2025, how do you wish the industry to be? But we have to be realistic in our expectations. The concept of maven, connectors, and salesperson, yes, we will fulfill this role for the industry. We will continue to play the role of policy making, to some extent enforcement, and provide a medium for the industry to prosper, which is to facilitate, encourage, and support, and yet becoming a self-generating entity. The industry over the years has become more complex, and not just in the production itself, but also in the landscape and environment has changed, more so with the advent of digital age, which requires brand new skill sets and knowledge. This is the era of OTTs. This is the era of Netflix and iFlix. Where do we go? What do we do? When I was in Midcom in France, they were saying to me, people don't watch television anymore. They're moving towards your mobiles as a source of the platform for the entertainment industry. So these are probably the challenges that we should be looking at, or perhaps some of you have already looked into it. And that's how FINAS, how much we need to progress from where we are at the moment. If I may quote another writer, I know this is getting a bit dry, Thomas Friedman, and he wrote a book titled Thank You for Being Late. We need to understand that the market has three forces, and I think some of you have already identified with the book. Moore's law, which talks about technology, the market, globalization, and mother nature, climate change and biodiversity loss are all accelerating at once, forcing transformation to happen that changes the ecosystem of the workforce, politics, geopolitics, ethics, and community. The creative industry has to align itself to this. So with these constraints, we will continue to support the industry to face these challenges. Yet FINAS should not be seen as a crutch to the industry, but seen as a, well, this is fancy, a French word, trebuchet, a French type of catapult that catapults the industry to a greater heights. So this is something that we should look at. In 2011, we have generated a hit record of 125 million ringgits for the industry. This is a historic moment because we have never achieved a return of more than 100 million. It's something to look at. How do we leverage on this? It is during this time we should ask ourselves, how else should we grow the market, as it seems that we have reached perhaps the maximum level in the local market. Where do we go from here? It was a great dream then that we should now focus on international markets, hence your presence here. Either through sales of finished products, co-production, work for hire, provision of services, both for films and TV programs. Thus, the term Ke Bersama Dunia was coined, and this is now, well, it's still relevant as our clarion call. The Creative Content Association Malaysia was formed to complement FINAS on this very issue alone. The mandate for CCAM were and still is to lead trade missions, especially to new international markets, including specialized trade missions, and to operate a yearly international marketing event focusing on international markets. Thus, the manifesto from the early content side of KL converged to the current ConnectASIA 2018. So, with that, I thank all of you for coming today, and perhaps the major takeaway of this that we walk out at the door feeling inspired and having this new energy to move the industry forwards. With this success, I hope we can continue again in the following years. Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you to Yang Berusaha, Encik Syakir Ahmad Syakir, Acting Director General of FINAS. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is our privilege and honor to invite Yang Berhormat Tuan Edim Syamdesi, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Communications and Multimedia Malaysia, to deliver his keynote address. Please welcome Yang Berhormat Tuan Edim Syamdesi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dan selamat datang dan salam sejahtera. Terima kasih kepada saudara pengacara pengurusi majlis, Tuan Syakir Ahmad Syakir, Acting Director General National Film Development Corporation Malaysia, FINAS, Encik Johan Nisha, Chairman of the Creative Content Association Malaysia, CCAM, berbahagia Datuk Mahmud Mustaqim, CEO of Creative Content Association Malaysia, CCAM, members of the association and industry players, honored guests, media, and foreign speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, selamat datang and a very good afternoon to all invited guests of this auspicious occasion. It is both an honor and a great pleasure for me to join you here today, and let me extend my congratulations to National Film Development Corporation of Malaysia, FINAS, and Creative Content Association of Malaysia, CCAM, for organizing the second edition of ConnectASIA 2018. And on behalf of Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia, I wish to extend a warm welcome to distinguished speakers and fellow delegates from both local and international that signifies the high importance of the event indeed. Indeed, the government, through collaborative effort of FINAS and its strategic arms like CCAM, has continued their eminent roles in positioning Malaysia as a source of reach, a dynamic, emerging market, and a platform for the players domestically and internationally. Being a US $1.7 billion industry
the Malaysian government has identified creative content as one of the commercially and financially viable sector, which is expected to contribute 3.04 billion to gross national income and produce more than 10,000 jobs by year 2020. Thus, the goal has always been about establishing Malaysia as a regional creative hub with an action plan and way forward to enhance capability and competency of the industry and it producing world-class content. Considering that Malaysia is unstoppably growing as a digital economy with some two-thirds of its 32 million strong population now online, and this industry could take further steps to unlock the full potential of the economic opportunities in this increasingly globalized and technology transforming world. Ladies and gentlemen, with the aim of creating a high-income nation that is inclusive, equitable, and sustainable, the significant role of ministry and its agencies, namely Finance, MDEC, and FCMC, to empower the domestic ecosystem must be seen holistically as stronger ties with film producers and players in providing intensive support to enhance the development and distribution of local production, increasing audience for film product, and also supporting the climate entrepreneurship. Thus, they have been working very closely with the various stakeholders in improving the industry and strategically develop a better system, mechanism, policies, and frameworks that could enhance our industry from spectrum of policies, business model, production, authority, intellectual property, rights, market access development, human capital development, knowledge building, and technology transfer. And this will also inevitably lead to a concerted effort to connect all the dots in the industry and progressively escalate the job creation, export, and high-value services and other socio-economic imperatives. Besides, as Asia is becoming a key area of digital innovation, accounting for about 50% of global internet users, estimated at around 2.8 to 3 billion, since Asia is the largest regional e-commerce market, the ministry, through its active role in the Asian Senior Office responsible for information or SOMRI, working group on content and production, has taken an important role in further expansion of the creative content industry and driving strategic direction for the expansion of Asian content and production market. From the business spectrum, in 2018, several Malaysian movies have succeeded in penetrating global market, such as a sport biopic Lee Chong Wei that was screened at 8,000 cinemas in China, Pulang with its global debut in 190 countries via an exclusive premiere on Netflix, as well as on the other box office hit Munafik 2, Munafik 2, Pascal, Dukun, and Hantu Kak Limah that had their regional theatrical screening. Thus, building a reputation and brand through Malaysia stories is essentially important in penetrating global market, as progressively exporting good content can drive us into building an economically integrated community and cultivating our collective identity and strength to engage with the world responding to new development and seizing new opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, the second edition of ConnectASIA 2018 has to be ideally seen beyond Symposium and networking session as to the government, and this partnership signifies the importance deepening bilateral cooperation and diplomatic ties among the participating countries, and to showcase our comprehensive strategic collaboration through creative content industry, as we know that the expansion of the digital economy based upon digital technology is revamping the industry structure and ecosystem. The creators and producers can pursue new opportunities beyond the traditional studio and distribution channel throughout this program, and venture into new ways to produce, distribute, and monetize creative content across a new landscape. Last but not least, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers, filmmakers, exhibitors, and participants, financiers, and all parties who have worked relatively in ensuring the success of this event. And I wish that the benefit forces in this event would not end here, but will flourish into positive reward in your respective field and our industry. And in the name of Allah and the phrase Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, it gives me a great pleasure to officiate this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Yang Muhammad. I would like to invite Yang Muhammad to remain on stage for the next program. And also we'd like to invite all our VIPs to accompany our guest of honor for the next program, the book signing ceremony. So ladies and gentlemen, to signify the official opening of this program, it is an honor to invite Yang Muhammad Tuan Edin Shahli, our Deputy Minister, to signing the VIP guest book. Dipersilakan. Signify the official opening of this program. Book signing ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to our guest of honor, Yang Muhammad Tuan Edin Shahli. And I'd like to invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk Mahidin and other VIPs to accompany our guest of honor to be seated for the next program. Dipersilakan. And next, we would like to draw your attention to the big screen for our video presentation, a selection of Malaysian